You ain't nothing but a
poet.
I recently saw the absolute smash hit Elvis, Baz Luhrmann's film about Elvis Presley, and of course, me being me, absolutely infatuated by poetry, decided to see if Elvis Presley ever delved into the world of poetry, and wonderfully, turns out he absolutely did. So let's talk all things Elvis Presley poetry. Once again, poetry is the gift that keeps on giving. This is why I am so crazy and infatuated with poetry, because so many people give it a crack, and this just further cements my belief that anyone can get into poetry. Even when Elvis wasn't writing any of these songs, he was penning poetry. And in this video, we're going to take a look at all the poems that I could find that were written by Elvis. But before we do, let me just talk about this little poetry community that is as mad about poetry as I am and as Elvis was. The Poetry Cove is home to the most extensive and most extraordinary poetry community. In the past year and a half, I personally have made some incredible poet friends from all over the world. Most of them actually started out as subscribers and came over to the Poetry Cove, and now they're close friends of mine, and we watch films, and you know, they're really supportive of the work that I'm doing, and just supportive of me personally. It's really starting to make some waves and doing some really exciting things and supporting poets from all over the world. So if you're really into poetry, like really into poetry like I am, and you want to discuss all angles of poetry like we are in this video, and you want to come and hang out with me and my friends and other covers, other awesome poets that are literally in every single corner of the globe, then pause this video right now and head over to the Poetry Cove and sign up, become a member, and don't forget to introduce yourselves. We have a specific forum thread called for new members with introductions of all these great people. So head to www.thepoetrycove.com. I'll see you there. Let's hang out. Let's talk about poetry. Let's get into the video. Alright, okay, let's talk about some Elvis poetry. Let's read some poems by Elvis. I tried to do a little quiff, 50s Elvis style quiff, but it's very difficult when you've got hair this long. If you thought I'd cut my hair, don't worry, I still have it. But I tried to do something different for this video that was Elvis inspired, and this is what we got. Funnily enough, when I had short hair, I used to quiff it like this anyway, so it brought back some memories. It wasn't too bad. So anyway, with all that rambling out of the way, let's read our first poem from Elvis. As I awoke this morning, when all sweet things are born, a robin perched on my windowsill to greet the looming dawn. He sang his sweet song so sweetly and paused for a moment's lull. I gently raised the window and crushed his fucking skull. Oh. Well, there you have it. Elvis wrote this poem. It's called Ode to a Robin, and he would apparently recite this on stage during his performances or before his performances, but he would recite it on stage. He would also share it with his friends. He wrote it down for several people, and I found this because actually one of the what would you call it? He wrote it down for several people, and one person actually put his copy of it up for auction. You can Google it, Ode to a Robin by Elvis Presley. It's on a yellow piece of paper, headed with from the home of Elvis Presley, if I remember correctly. But he actually also had this as his home message dialer. What does it say here? He even used it on his home phone message machine recording. So yeah, that is Ode to a Robin. It's started off so sweetly and then just hit you with that last line. Thank you, Elvis. Moving on from that one, swiftly, we have something a little more touching, I think, and it's called the pledge. So let me read that out for you now. It's just the simple word, you see. To get inside you need no key. For we who know it well. And you who can't can never tell. As I place my hand upon your heart and you place yours on mine, from this day forward our minds, our souls, our hearts will intertwine. If neither one should have a doubt, now is the time to break out. For this pledge together us will tie, even if one of us should die. What we share in confidence now, even in this cannot part. For it comes not from the mind, but from the heart. You just hold my words true, for where I go you'll be there too. I know your inner self, and you know mine. Honour and keep it for all time. And when I am gone, every now and then think of this pledge. For I love you, my friend. You can confess to me and touch my heart. And I'll know it's you by the word, even in the dark. I will leave the source for this poem in the description. I couldn't find any other sources that spoke about the pledge by Elvis Presley, which I do find a little bit odd. I would have thought that if Elvis is out here writing poems, it would be well known. It would be everywhere, but apparently not. So yeah, I couldn't find any other sources, so you check out the description, go ahead and take a look if you fancy it. I thought I would include this in the video just in case it is an Elvis poem, but keeping in mind it's not authenticated. So if there are any huge Elvis fans out there that are better at digging up clues and delving into these sorts of things, then by all means please do, and let me know if you come back with anything that can confirm that this is an Elvis poem. I'm just gonna say for now that it is. It's probably not the attitude to have with life, but it's a nice thought that he wrote this. Yeah. Next up is another piece from the King that's titled I Did It My Way. Again, I will post the source link for this that I used anyway in the description below for you to do your own research. This one apparently came with a handwritten letter from someone who was very close to Elvis that said this was a poem from Elvis, by Elvis, and handwriting experts have confirmed it's Elvis, but again, this is the internet we're talking about. So check out my source link down below, and again, if you're a huge Elvis fan, if you're a bit of a detective, please, if you can authenticate this, we would all really appreciate it, I'm sure. So this is I Did It My Way. I did it my way, with no regrets and peace of mind. I walked away and left behind a fate that I could not control. I played the hand that I was told. It came to be more than I could bear. Everyone around was unaware what I chose. You may not understand. Please forgive me. I am just a man. I have no regrets. I have memories. The life I led in a lot of ways were good to me, but a life without love I couldn't go on. And I knew I would have to keep singing a song. A different man I came to be. It was then I found serenity. I think that's probably my favourite. Again, I need your help figuring out how genuine that is, but I think, in my opinion, all three poems, I think you'll understand when you come to see all the source links that I've left for you down below. I would recommend if you open all them up and reading them yourselves, so you can see the line structure, you can see the use of meter, and where it sort of breaks. Personally, I feel like these three poems could have been written by the same person just because of the way it's written out on the page, and when you come to read it for yourselves, you'll understand. Obviously, I've read them a couple times, so I was familiar with them, which made it easier when it came to reading them for you. But I think that if you read them for yourselves, you'll see what I mean. I can believe that all three of these poems were written by the same person. And we know the first one 100% is authenticated. It is an Elvis poem. So I can believe that the other two were Elvis. I want to believe that the other two were Elvis. All we know for sure is Ode to a Robin is Elvis's. If this last one is authentic, and again I want to believe that it is, then it's a really heavy poem when you know what happened to Elvis, when you've seen Elvis, the film. Again, I've just not long seen it, so it's kind of fresh in my mind, and it's just really sad what Elvis had to put up with and what other people put him through. And what he put, yeah, obviously probably put a lot of pressure on himself. I don't know too much about Elvis. I know his songs, I now know his story, but like I'm not a die-hard fan. Not a fan. I've been listening to all of his songs since seeing the film. But I don't know how much pressure he put on himself. Usually these icons like Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash and stuff, they usually put a lot of pressure on themselves to be the best. But certainly other people put even more pressure on him. Anyway, I don't want to spoil things too much, especially if you're kind of a subscriber of the channel and don't really know Elvis, but from this video you go and dive into Elvis's life and go and see the film, which I 100% recommend. I'm not going to spoil anything for you because I think it's fun for you to find that out for yourselves. So finally, one other thing that we do 100% know is that Elvis read poetry and he was into poetry. There was a auction of a book of poems, which was specifically a book called Poems That Touch the Heart, where he wrote fun poetic little annotations on the page and stuff. I won't read any of that out for you. Again, there'll be a source link in the description, so you can go ahead. The auction house, the auction was a long time ago, so don't get too excited. I think the auction went for $3,000, $4,000. I think someone bought it for, which isn't a lot when you think you could get hold of a book of poems that was Elvis Presley's, and he hand wrote some annotations in it. That's pretty cheap, considering the Ode to a Robin. My source link is from the same website, was an auction that went for $20,000. It was crazy. That's more like it. Anyway, we know for sure that Elvis definitely was into poetry. He read poetry, he enjoyed poetry, and he wrote poetry. So that's it. So there you have it. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, was an appreciator of poetry. Now, I'm not going to review the poetry in this video. I'm not going to sort of comment on whether it's amazing poetry, because we don't know whether it's his or not, quite frankly. But I would like to believe that it is. I would also like people to tell me if it isn't. So again, please do some digging if that's your thing and let me know. But I just thought that it was a cool thing. The channel is about poetry, discussing poetry, and me sharing, you know, my love for poetry and my findings. You know, if I find something I think is interesting, I want to share it with you guys. So that's that. No reviews, no commenting, just sharing and allowing you to make your own opinions, I guess. If you haven't already, go and check out Baz Luhrmann's Elvis film starring Austin Butler. It's very, very good, as I've been saying throughout this video. But that's it for this week, my friends. Don't forget to hit that like button just down below the video. It takes 2 seconds, it's completely free, but helps me out massively. And of course, if you're new here and you want to see more videos that are just poetry related, don't forget to hit subscribe. And lastly, YouTube has a new feature. I don't know if you've been following my community tab, but recently I have jumped in at the deep end, which is my favourite saying, jump in at the deep end, and I am going full force. I've given myself 6 months to try and do something freelance. So if you have $1 or £1 or anything to spare, please hit that thanks button. I think it's called the thanks button. I don't even know myself. Hit that thanks button, and if you can, just leave a little donation or a little tip. It all goes into the pot and it all helps. Or if you want more content, join the channel. Hit join and become a Gary Goyle, where you will get exclusive vlogs. It's a writer's life for me. I think we're on vlog 5 now. There will also be extra content. Every time I release a video like this, there will be bloopers, just for you guys to have a laugh at my stumbling and swearing. And also on the hunt videos are going to be massive member videos where we do tours of the location during the day, so you can see the location that we're hunting during the day, and bloopers and afterthoughts as well. So much going on, so much great content. I love you guys. I know that the beard's gone. I feel very naked without the beard, but until next week, my friends, my name's Adam Gary. Peace out.